When you grow up, they tell you that the world is the way it is. They tell you to live your life inside the boundaries that society has drawn, to follow a script that has been handed down over generations. They say, but try not to bash into the walls too much. Play it safe. And for most people, that's exactly what they do. They settle into a life that is predictable, comfortable, and limited. But what if I told you that life can be much broader? That every wall you see, the limitations, the boundaries, the rules, is nothing more than a construct made up by people who are no smarter than you, and if they could make it, you can change it. You can influence it. You can influence it. You can build something entirely new that others will use and cherish. I'm here to tell you that the greatest people in the world are self-managing. They don't need to be told every step of the way what to do. Once they know what needs to be done, they figure it out on their own. They don't wait for someone to hold their hand. They take responsibility for their destiny. And that's what true leadership is all about. A common vision that inspires and propels every person in the room to think, act, and create. At Apple, we always believe that if you want to change the world, you have to start by questioning the way it is. You have to dare to think differently, to challenge every norm, to reject the notion that life is predetermined by tradition or convention. And I'm here today to share with you that very belief, because everything around you was built by people who, like you, had doubts and fears, but ultimately chose to act. And so can you. Let me take you back to a time in my life, a time when I was young and unburdened by the fear of failure, I was in college, full of dreams and ideas, yet I couldn't even connect the dots looking forward. It was impossible to see the full picture at the moment, but looking back 10 years later, everything made sense. You cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward, although you can only connect them looking back. That's why you must trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. Trust your gut, your destiny, your life's karma, whatever you believe in, because it is that trust that gives you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that, my friends, makes all the difference. I was lucky. I found what I loved to do early in life. When I was 20, I discovered my passion: technology, creativity, and the endless possibility of innovation. But as I got older, as I tasted success, the heaviness of it all sometimes weighed me down. Success in its early days had a certain gravity to it, but then something shifted. The weight of having achieved so much was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, of relearning, of questioning, of daring to dream with renewed vigor. And that's because I realized that the only thing that kept me going was love for what I did, love for the craft, and love for the endless journey of discovery. You see, your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it, or it too. And like any great relationship, it only gets better and better as the years roll on. So, keep looking, don't settle. Now, let's talk about death. When I was 17, I read a quote that said, "If you live each day as if it were your last, someday you'll most certainly be right." That quote made a deep impression on me. For the past 33 years, every morning when I look in the mirror, I ask myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do? And if the answer is no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Remembering that I'm going to die soon is the best tool I've ever encountered to make big choices in life. It clears away all the external expectations, all the pride, all the fear of embarrassment or failure. When you face death, everything trivial falls away, leaving only what is truly important. You see, when you remember that you're going to die, you realize you have nothing to lose. You're already naked. There's no reason not to follow your heart. No one wants to die, yet even those who aspire to heaven don't want to die to get there. And yet, death is the one destination we all share. No one escapes it, and that is as it should be, because death is life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. And right now, the new is you. But don't mistake this for a call to live recklessly. Rather, it's a call to live fully, to be unencumbered by the fear of failure, the weight of external expectations, or the constraints of dogma. You have the power to shape your destiny. You can follow your heart and intuition because deep down, they already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. These are the words, stay hungry, stay foolish. They're not just a farewell message. They're a way of life, a manifesto for those who dare to change the world. And I have always wished that for myself. And now, as you graduate to begin a new chapter, I wish that for you too. Stay hungry, stay foolish. Let me leave you with this thought. People will never stop believing they can get more out of their jobs, their marriages, their money, the belief in the limitless, the impossible. No matter what you dream, you can do it. When you grow up, they sell you a life that is safe and predictable, a life confined by walls you're told not to crash into. But that's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact. Everything around you, the world as you know it, was made up by people who were no smarter than you. And if they can create it, so can you. You have the power to change it, to influence it, to build something that others can use. It's time to shake off the erroneous notion that life is just something you exist in. Embrace change. Improve. Make your mark on the world. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and the square holes, those who see things differently. They are not fond of rules. They have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward, and while some may see them as crazy, we see genius. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. This is our message. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. Some will criticize us for not focusing on plug and play, for not delving into every technical detail. But we're not here to talk about numbers or specifications. We're here to remind you of what Apple has always been about. Values. In this noisy, complicated world, we have a limited chance to be remembered. No company is remembered just for doing a job. Just for doing a job. You must be crystal clear about what you want people to know about you. Apple is one of the best brands in the world, up there with Nike, Disney, Coke, and Sony. But even a great brand needs constant care to retain its relevance and vitality. Over the last few years, we've seen Apple drift from the basics of great products, great marketing, and great distribution. And so, we are committed to getting back to those basics. We started by examining our product line. We looked at our roadmap for the coming years and realized that much of it didn't make sense. There was too much clutter, too many models. We couldn't even figure out the damn product line after a few weeks. I kept asking, what is this model? Hopper, how does this fit? I talked to our customers and they couldn't figure it out either. So, we made a bold decision. We cut 70% of our product roadmap. We got rid of the clutter to focus on the 30% of ideas that were truly revolutionary. And let me tell you, this focus is going to take us in new, exciting directions. At the same time, we looked at our distribution strategy. Right now, we have 2 to 3 months of inventory in our supply chain, and we're guessing what customers want months in advance. That's not smart. It's not responsive. It's like trying to predict the future without any feedback. We're going to simplify. We're going to pull inventory out of those long pipelines so that we can listen directly to what our customers are asking for and respond instantly. This isn't just about catching up to the best. It's about breaking new ground in distribution and manufacturing. And then there's marketing. To me, marketing is all about values. We live in a complicated, noisy world, and we only have one shot to get people to remember who we are. No company is remembered for just getting the job done. Apple is remembered because we stand for something greater, because we believe that people with passion can change the world for the better. Our first brand campaign in years is about returning to that core value. We're not going to bore you with technical details about speeds, feeds, or megahertz. Instead, we're going to show you what Apple really stands for. And that is, we believe in innovation, we believe in simplicity, and we believe that the people who dare to think differently are the ones who truly change the world. Let me give you an example. Nike sells a commodity. They sell shoes. But when you think of Nike, you don't just think of shoes. You think of athletes, of greatness, of pushing beyond limits. Nike's advertising never just talks about the product. They honor great athletes and great athleticism. That's who they are. That's what they stand for. We're taking a similar approach at Apple. We spent a fortune on advertising. You might not even realize it. Our ads are so subtle that they almost disappear. But every dollar spent was an investment in our legacy. We fired our old agency, refired our old agency, ran a competition among 23 agencies, and when we finally chose our partner, we created award-winning work that captured the spirit of Apple. Work that reminded the world, think different. That campaign wasn't just about selling a computer. It was about defining who we are, about celebrating the people who think differently, who challenge the status quo, who change the world. It was about honoring the misfits, the rebels, the ones who refuse to be bound by conventional wisdom. Today, I stand before you, humbled by the journey we've taken and the lessons we've learned. We've had incredible successes, and yes, we've made mistakes. But every setback has only made us more determined, more focused, and more committed to our vision. As we look to the future, let me leave you with this. Don't settle for mediocrity. Don't allow the noise of the world to drown out your inner voice. You have the power to shape your destiny. Every product, every idea, every campaign, each one is a chance to build something truly remarkable. Remember, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. That's not just a slogan, it's a way of life. It's a call to action for every one of us. Whether you're a student, an entrepreneur, or someone simply trying to make a difference, understand this. Your life is not predetermined by the status quo. You can influence it. You can change it. You can build your own legacy. So here's my challenge to you today. Reject the limitations that have been imposed on you. Embrace the opportunity to simplify. Focus on what matters. And most importantly, believe in your ability to change the world. Your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition, because they already know what you truly want to become. Now, as I stand here, I'm reminded of a quote I read when I was 17. If you live each day as if it were your last, someday you'll be right. More 33 years, every morning when I looked in the mirror, I asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do? And if the answer was no for too many days in a row, I knew I needed to change something. That simple idea, remembering that you're going to die, became the most important tool I've ever encountered, because it clears away all the external expectations, all the pride, all the fear of embarrassment or failure. In the face of death, everything else falls away, leaving only what is truly important. So, let this be your wake-up call. Embrace your mortality. Understand that every day is a gift, and every moment is an opportunity to build something extraordinary. Don't wait for permission. Don't settle for a life defined by others. Instead, create your own rules, shape your own destiny, and build a legacy that inspires generations to come. I believe that if you follow your heart, if you pursue what you love with relentless passion, you can achieve greatness. Whether it's in your work, your relationships, or your dreams, find what you love and pour your heart into it. Because in the end, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. And as you move forward, remember the words that have always guided me. Stay hungry. Stay foolish. Let those words be a constant reminder that no matter how successful you become, never stop dreaming, never stop pushing, and never settle for anything less than what you know is possible. Now, as I look around at all of you, I see potential. I see dreamers. I see rebels ready to change the world. And I know that if you harness your passion, if you focus on what truly matters, you can build a future that is not only different, but better. This is our time. This is your moment. The world is waiting for the next great idea, for the next revolutionary product, for the next wave of innovation that will change everything. And that wave starts with you. Thank you